Well, investing for your retirement is important at any age, especially as you're younger. But for many people, the question isn't why should you invest, but how? Where do you start? That's when people's eyes sometimes tend to glaze over. But we've got help for you. This morning, we're joined by Maggie Johndrow with Johndrow Wealth Management for more on what you can do to create financial security. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Keeping warm with the snow.
Yes, thank you for joining us over Zoom so you didn't have to get out on the roads. Okay, why don't we just start by having you go through, Maggie, what are the different types of retirement accounts that people can make?
Sure, there's a lot of them, but the most common ones would be employer-sponsored retirement plans. Examples would be 401ks, 457s, 403bs, and even defined benefit pension plans. But that there's also self-managed retirement plans, ones that you can open so long as you have earned income. They don't need to be provided by your employer, and that would be a traditional IRA or Roth IRA, for example.
Got it. All right. Why don't we go through? Yes, I think people have heard of IRAs, Roth IRAs, in 401ks. Is it easy to kind of go through the similarities and differences between them?
Sure. So if we just start with your pre-tax 401k and your traditional IRA, both are retirement accounts. That's a similarity. They both provide you with the opportunity to invest your money. And it's in your best interest to keep your money in both of these accounts as long as you can, so you can take advantage of compounding interest. If you were to take money out of either of these types of accounts before 59 and a half, not only would you owe taxes, but also you'd incur a 10% penalty. The key difference is that a 401k you have to get through your employer, whereas an IRA, anyone with earned income can open it. Another key difference is that with a 401k, you can put a lot more money into the accounts. So for 2024, the limit for a 401k is $23,000 a year if you're under 50 years old, and you get a $7,500 catch-up if you're over 50. The limit for a traditional IRA is a lot lower, $7,000 a year for 2024 if you're under 50, with a $1,000 catch-up if you're 50 or older.
Got it. Now, what about just between IRAs and Roth IRAs? What's the difference there?
Yeah, so it's when you pay your taxes. That's the key difference. With a Roth IRA, you're going to pay your taxes today. Then the money in your Roth IRA hopefully grows tax-free for the rest of your life, and you never have to take that money out. There is no required minimum distribution like a traditional IRA has. That required minimum distribution, or RMD, is a calculation of how much money you have to start taking out of your pre-tax or your traditional IRA once you are in your 70s, depending on when you were born. So the true benefit of a Roth is tax-free growth, but the benefit of a traditional IRA is that you typically can get a tax break today, depending on your income limits, let that money grow tax-deferred, and pay taxes once you're in retirement.
Okay, so Roth IRA, you're paying taxes up front, but then
Yes.
you don't have to worry about them later on. So is it right in a very general sense to assume maybe if you're younger and you think your earnings potential is going to grow over time, meaning you're going to go up to a higher tax bracket, you just want to get the taxes out of the way now?
Yeah, I actually always use the example of a physician just starting out, right? Usually they're in fellowship or residency. That's probably the lowest they're going to make in their career. So paying taxes today in a lowered tax bracket does make a lot of sense than paying it in the future when you're earning more and in a higher tax bracket.
Okay, see, that's a good, simple way to try to explain it in a way that even I can remember, because as we were talking before, I asked you this last time you were on, I already forgot, so we had to ask again. All right, lastly, what should people know? Anything else if they're looking to start saving for retirement?
Yeah, some great tips is to make sure your retirement savings are automated. So if you do have that employer-sponsored account like a 401k, it's going to make sure it's automatically deducted from your paycheck. If you don't have one and you're opening an IRA, you can still automate your monthly deductions there. Furthermore, you want to think about how much you're going to need. There is a rule of 25, and I say this, use it generally, but basically take what you're spending today, and if that's what you think think you're going to spend in retirement, multiply that by 25, and that's how much you should have saved by the time you retire. Now, of course, that's not all your personal savings. That's your personal savings, maybe an employee match, and hopefully some market growth. But it gives you a good goal for the future. And my last tip would be increase your retirement savings by just 1% every year. You're not going to feel it, and over time, it can make a significant difference.
Thanks to the magic of compounding interest. All right,
That's
Maggie, thank you so much for joining us again. I like that little rule of 25. That's something I'm going to try and implement going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.